are 225,000 kilometres of road in Great Britain. All these highways, from ring roads to motorways, must be kept in order. Some are upgraded, and even today some are built from scratch. All this work involves moving tons of earth, sand, gravel and stone. Materials which have to come from somewhere. At Breedon Quarry, they produce 5,000 tons of limestone a day. To move that, they need some mega machines. Digging, dumping and driving continue non-stop at a busy quarry like this. The machines that work in them are built to last. This is the Euclid R50. At 40 tons, it's the biggest machine they've got here. This monster truck is designed for strength, stamina, and a lot of hard work. With each scoop of rock weighing 10 tons, it only takes a Michigan L270 loader 5 trips to fill the Euclid. When this hydraulic loader is working to full capacity at the rock face, the front tyres take most of the wear, so when they are half worn, they are moved to the back and new ones are put on the front. Savings like this can cut down running costs on these expensive bits of machinery. Well looked after, they can easily go on for 10 years or more. The Michigan is driven by a 6-cylinder Cummins engine which burns through 45 litres of diesel every hour of its working day. From the bottom of the quarry works, now at sea level, spiralling up 360 feet, the Euclid hauls its 50-ton load day after day, year after year. It's a massive machine for a monster job. At Breedon, like on any site, there's always unwanted material which needs to be moved away and responsibly dumped. The Volvo BM A35 is fully articulated and six-wheel drive. Capable of moving 35 tons of earth, its all-wheel independent suspension means it handles perfectly, even through the deepest mud. You're bound to see an excavator crawler when there's earth to be moved. The Ackermann EC230 may look like a dinosaur, but it's operated by state-of-the-art controls from its heated and air-conditioned cab. It can dig to 6.7 meters and has a reach of over 10. With a motor for each track, the driver steers the Ackermann with his feet, allowing his hands freedom to control the digger. The EC230 excavator crawler is an extremely capable machine. The A35 is a very stable dumper, and in a business where tons of earth and rock are constantly moved over rough ground, safety is vital. Most roadworks split up into two types of project. Some roads are new and built from scratch, while others are upgrading jobs. Here on the A406 North Circular Road in London, the particular challenges of an upgrading project in a city environment are clear. There's almost no room to swing a cat. The big problem here is keeping the traffic moving. The old bit of road has to be kept open while the contractors work alongside. There are about 50 different vehicles working on the short 2.3 kilometres stretch of road, including cranes, diggers, crawlers, dumpers and bulldozers. Each one has its specific job to do. And out of seeming chaos, there is a master plan. Underground systems like drains, gas mains and electricity cables have to be moved because the foundations for the new road here will need to be deep. On a building site, there are always recognisable vehicles made by some of the giants of the heavy plant industry. Probably one of the best known is the JCB Site Master, a classic style of digger. Lorry load after lorry load of earth is being moved all the time around a site like this. Underpasses and bridges have to be shaped out of the available space as the carriageway takes its form. It's not all earth moving. Some of the machines are designed for lots of other jobs which need fingertip control from the driver. Here a bulldozer and grabber are working together to keep the place tidy. One of the ways to keep the traffic flowing is to finish small sections at a time. These vehicles are levelling one of the nearly completed slip roads. This earth mover is known as a rubber duck because it has tyres, not tracks like most of the others. The main reason for this is that rubber tyres won't break up a newly laid road surface. This huge Casa Grande C50 digs straight downwards and makes a hole that will be filled with reinforced concrete. This is one of the ways they make bridge supports. When the concrete is set, the diggers will come in and remove all the surrounding earth, leaving the pillars standing. Big building work is seasonal. When the weather is really bad, there is a danger of destruction instead of construction. However, all these machines are designed to cope with most conditions. While weather can cause some delays, road builders try to complete the job as quickly as possible. Nevertheless, in a city, they must always take into account the people living nearby, so they don't work late at night. Road building in a tight space is expensive. This project is costing £13 million a kilometre. But with all these machines, you can see why. Choosing the right vehicle for the right job is very important because they are expensive and have to last for a long time. At the Caterpillar assembly plant here in Desford, buyers can test drive machines like this D20D, one of the more compact articulated dump trucks, which can carry 20 tons of earth. The IT28F integrated tool carrier is designed to use different fittings on the front. This one's a bucket, but it can also take forklifts and handling arms. The cab comfort for the driver is surprising, given the rugged construction on the outside. The Caterpillar D20D and the IT28F make an ideal all-purpose earth-moving combination. This backhoe loader is a Caterpillar 438B. Again, seen on building sites everywhere. What makes this one interesting is the all-wheel steering. It can move like a crab, which means it can turn very tightly when needed. The 438B can perform several tasks at one go, making best use of its gears, hydraulic buckets, and drive capabilities. This loader can also act as a leveller. By dropping the bucket and raising its front wheels, it can drag backwards over the hard core and prepare the ground ready for the roller. Unlike the cramped working conditions on the North Circular in London, this site on the A11 involves an 8-kilometre stretch in open countryside. It's a £20 million, 2-year project and employs 150 men and 42 machines for its massive earthworks. When building a long stretch of road from scratch, ground is cut away from the higher mounds and moved to the lower areas. This makes the road smoother, without too many ups and downs. A Caterpillar excavator scrapes away at the chalk. On a long site like this, relays of lorries transfer the filler to waiting bulldozers. The bulldozer's job is to shove the piles of chalk into areas that need filling and to level off the surface. Where there are bends in the road, the bulldozer's blade can be tilted to get exactly the right angle of slope, known as camber. As the layers build up, more and more accuracy is needed in levelling. The vehicle to do this is the grader. Setting the blades at an angle, this machine slowly shifts the materials around. Repeated runs level the whole strip. The blades can be set both up and down and side to side. Slowly and repeatedly, the driver makes his run, painstakingly getting the precise depth he wants. The controls in the cab allow the driver to grade accurately to within 10 millimeters. They need to be this accurate because they don't want to waste expensive stone unnecessarily. With the help of a measuring stick, the driver can make the final adjustments. $220,000 trees have been planted at this site as part of the final landscaping operation. Contractors put by topsoil at the start of a project and gradually replace it as sections become completed. As a big project like this nears its end, a CAT 980 wheel loader is working hard, digging out the tons of carefully saved rich earth to be transported by dumper to areas of the site where the road building is nearly finished. It is this attention to detail, not only in building the carriageway itself, but in restoring the surrounding countryside as well, which has become such an important part of modern road planning. massive job like this, the asphalt plant to make the black top is actually built on site. Ingredients from gravel pits and quarries go into the mix to achieve the perfect recipe. It's all heated in a giant tumbler to 180 degrees Celsius before the black oil-based bitumen is added. The whole process takes just 3 minutes. Just a short trip up the road and the still warm topping is ready to be put down by the asphalt layers. Temperature must be maintained to keep the perfect consistency, because if it's too cold, it won't set properly. First, the warm asphalt is slowly and carefully laid to an even level. They keep the vehicle on the move and try to get the load down as quickly as possible before the sticky mixture becomes too difficult to work and clogs the machinery. A final coating of stone chips are laid over the soft blacktop. This will give the road a good non-skid surface. Temperatures are checked once more before the rollers come in for a final run. Very soon the road will be ready for its first cars. All the heavy and rugged work that goes into making our traffic run free is achieved by the mega machines of the construction industry.